everybody, and it's that year again. If I can place my iPad properly, there we go. It's that time of the year again to do the best of the year list. I don't know if I'm going to do a worst of the year list because, to be honest, I'm not feeling that motivated to do one. I might do one, but I'm not sure. There's fireworks outside, that's inconvenient, so please just ignore those. So anyway, before I do the actual list, I'm going to get started with some honourable mentions. Films I thought were great, but unfortunately didn't make the list. I've got quite a few of them. They are Searching, Game Night, The Shape of Water, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Hereditary, Bumblebee, A Star is Born, Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and this one may shock you because it's in the honourable mentions, Avengers Infinity War. I love all of those films, but they just didn't make the cut. So anyway, let's get started. At number 10 is Creed 2. I loved this film. It's not as good as the first one. The first one I felt, while the first one was more emotional, while the second one was more emotional, the first film was a better directed film, but this film, it was still really well directed. But I mean, the fight scenes, the emotion, it's just all so strong. I loved it. At number 9 is one of the most intense films I have ever seen in my life, and that is A Quiet Place. Wow. Seeing this in a cinema, you're probably worried that because the whole film's so silent that people are just going to talk about it. Are just going to talk throughout it. It's actually the opposite. People are scared to talk because it's such an intense film. It's the most intense cinema experience I've ever had. It's just so incredible what John Krasinski managed to do with this, and I loved it. At number 8, I should probably warn you all that, well, not warn, but I should probably just say that these are films that came out in the UK in 2018. So my number 8 and number 7 came out in other countries in 2017, but they came out here this year. So in the UK this year. So anyway, number 8 is Disney Pixar's Coco. This is one of the best animated films of the year. Not the best animated film of the year, I've got that coming soon. But Coco was wonderful. It's colourful, it's beautifully animated, the musical numbers are really catchy, the music's really catchy, the musical numbers are great, and it's just a really heartfelt, great family film. I loved it. At number 7 is The Post. Now, this isn't a word you would use to describe a film like The Post, but I had fun with this film. I found it to be really exciting. And it's just such an incredibly well-made film. But then again, that shouldn't come as a surprise, considering the film is directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. I mean, yeah, that shouldn't come as a surprise, but I loved The Post so much. I was so surprised by this. At number, where are we? At number 6, we have Upgrade. The director Lee Winnell is known for doing horror, but this is quite a change for him. But this may be his best film yet. In fact, it is his best film yet. Upgrade is original. It's inventive, kind of the same thing. It's exciting, it's funny in places, and the ending, so awesome. Everything about Upgrade is the pure definition of awesome. At number 5, top 5 now, at number 5 is Damien Chazelle's First Man. This isn't Damien Chazelle's best film. I think La La Land and Whiplash are better, but First Man, what Damien Chazelle and his team managed to accomplish on a technical level with this is outstanding. Visually, this film is one of the best of the year. It is one of the best of the year anyway. Ryan Gosling is very subdued here, but that's how the character was written, of Neil Armstrong. So in that sense, he did excellently. Claire Foy was amazing, and I just loved First Man, and I'm disappointed it did badly at the box office. Um, at number 4 is a film critics were mixed on, audience loved, and I side with the audience on it. Sorry about the fireworks again. That film is Bohemian Rhapsody. Queen are my favourite band of all time. Freddie Mercury is the best performer ever. And Rami Malek is Freddie Mercury. He doesn't imitate, he doesn't pretend, he doesn't act. He is Freddie Mercury. The moves, everything about him is Freddie Mercury. And he shouldn't just get nominated at the Oscars this year for Best Actor. He should win. He is so incredible in this film. And the best part about this film, and the best part of any film this year, is the Live Aid sequence. The fanboy inside me just couldn't contain my excitement. My heart was beating and I was shaking a bit during that sequence. It's just such... I've seen the Live Aid concert on YouTube, and it's just so... it's just so accurate to how the film depicts it. The film depicts it very accurately, and I was so happy with the way Bohemian Rhapsody turned out. At number 3 is a Netflix film. I've heard some people call it overrated, because there are loads of critics calling it like one of the best movies ever made. Some people are calling it overrated. I don't believe it is. I mean, I don't think it's one of the best films ever made, but it's incredible, and that is Alfonso Cuarón's Roma. This is a foreign language black and white film, but I've never been a fan of both foreign language films and black and white films. I don't know why. I just can't seem to get into them. I don't know with foreign language stuff, with foreign language films, if it's the subtitles, because I'm not a fan of reading subtitles, or I struggle to watch old black and white films, because, I don't know, I just can't get into them, because I'm so used to films nowadays being really colourful and having colour, and that might be why I can't get into black and white films. But Roma, on both parts, foreign language wise and black and white wise, is an exception. It's a masterpiece. Alfonso Cuarón directed this film masterfully. I will be shocked if he does not win Best Director this year at the Oscars. It's between him and Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, and the best picture Oscar this year is between the best picture Oscar this year is between Roma and A Star Is Born, I think. But anyway, top 2 now. This I really struggled with. Both of these films I love for different reasons. But the thing is, it was so hard because they're such different films. One's a musical and one's a comic book film. So that made it even harder. So for me, like, literally I was deciding up until the last minute. But for me, I chose what film brought me back to the cinema more. What film gave me the biggest emotional response? Did that make sense? But what film gave me more of an emotional response? So, at number 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is the best comic book film since The Dark Knight. It's truly amazing. The animation is revolutionary. The story is so great. And what I love about it is that in a lot of comic book films nowadays, the superhero gets their power and it's just like they're perfect with it instantly. They know how to use it. That's not the case with Miles Morales. It takes time for him to get used to his power. And I loved that. This film kind of feels like The Edge of 17 mixed with Spider-Man. That is what it is, and I loved it. It's the action is great, and it's probably the most comic book movie ever. I just adored it. I can't speak heavily enough of this film. So at number 1, there have been many great films this year, and my favourite film of 2018 is Show Dogs. I'm kidding. Yes, out of all the films this year that out of all the films this year that I could choose for my number one, I chose the film that I saw 10 times in the cinema, that on an emotional level got to me the most, and that is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. I loved this film so much. Yes, the music is incredible. Yes, the acting is great. But really what brought it home for me is what writer-director Paul Parker did with it. This film is so well directed. His directing here is some of the best of the year. It's so well written as well. It is very cheesy. If you don't like cheese, then just don't bother, because Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is the pure definition of cheese. But in this instance, it works, because, I mean, for crying out loud, it's a film based off ABBA music. You cannot... I'd be complaining if the film wasn't cheesy. I mean, you have to have it cheesy. You can't have it any other way. And writer-director Paul Parker understands that. And the way, because this film's set in two periods, there's two time periods. I think it's 1979 and present day. Although I think this film's set in 2005, I believe. Anyway, you know what I'm on about. But the way Paul Parker transitions between present day and the past is so smooth, and the thing is, there's little glimpses of emotion spread throughout the film, but the final scene with My Love, My Life, it's just like, you can see, it's like this fireball of emotion, you can see it's coming towards you, but you just have to let it hit you, because it's just so powerful. And I don't know if that metaphor made sense. Was it even a metaphor? I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, this film is a lot more emotional than you'd think a film based off ABBA music would be. I cannot explain my love for Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. If you'd have told me at the beginning of the year that out of all the films coming out this year, Mission Impossible, what else? Mission Impossible, Halloween, Incredibles 2, Infinity War, if you'd have told me out all those films, my favourite film of the year would be Mamma Mia 2, I would have laughed in your face, but here we are. I want to remind you all, this top 10 was tricky. Well, the top 2 was very tricky. These films, I would love to have tied, Spider-Verse and Mamma Mia. I'd love to have both of those films tied, but I had to choose one, and Mamma Mia came out on top, but both are absolutely incredible. Guys, thank you for watching my very few videos this year. I didn't do many. I'm going to try and do more this next year. But yeah, thank you for watching this, and I'll see you whenever I do the next video. I don't know when that's going to be.